Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic week. And you know what? I've done a few vlogs from this house while I've been dog sitting and I never noticed this. Did you notice the picture behind me? It's Amsterdam, my first stop on my cruise coming up next month. And I never even realized it. So well, that's how observant I am sometimes. So what's today's topic? I have an update on the lady who fell/jumped overboard on the Norwegian cruise ship near Croatia on the weekend. And it's getting to the point where it's almost like a soap opera. So I'll tell you what I mean right after this. So as I reported on Sunday, the lady fell overboard near Croatia. She was rescued by the Croatian Coast Guard and she was in good spirits. She was healthy. Apparently she was in the water for over 10 hours and still a lot of kind of strange information is coming out and it's a mixed bag. So at first we have the father saying that she's a heroine for being able to stay alive for 10 hours in the water, and the Coast Guard actually came out and said that it's a miracle because the seas were absolutely ideal for her survival. There was no rough weather, no waves. The temperature was in the water was around 25 degrees, which is really unusual for this time of year. Normally it's very rough seas and lots of turbulence and the water's much colder. So everything had to be perfect for her to be able to survive that long. And her father was saying that she's a heroine and for surviving. When she was interviewed, she said she owes it all to her yoga that she continues to do for core strength. And being an ex-airline stewardess, going through the first aid and the safety drills for survival in a water crash helped her know that she should try and float as often as possible as opposed to try and tread water or swim. And because the seas were perfect, that enabled her to do that. And also to keep herself awake. She ended up singing to herself while she was out there so she could try and remain conscious. And apparently more than one cruise ship, not necessarily a cruise ship, but more than one ship passed near her where she was trying to grab their attention and yell, and nobody heard her until the morning when one of the Coast Guard ships, someone spotted her and jumped in the water, ran out to her, swam out to her and rescued her. So the good news is, like I said, she's doing fine. Now comes all these reports, and it almost seems like Norwegian Cruise Line. As you know, it's very hard to fall off a cruise ship. You really kind of have to make an effort to fall off a cruise ship. So chances of her actually falling off the cruise ship is pretty unlikely. I'll say, I'm not saying impossible, but I'm going to say pretty unlikely. So the odds are maybe she jumped or she was just doing something foolish like climbing up on a rail and was, inebriated or just trying to get a picture and just fell overboard. So there's all kinds of reasons that it could have happened, but Norwegian seems to be getting defensive, claiming, that the criticism of the cruise line for allowing this to happen, and they're not to blame. And in all the articles and all the stories I've gone on to read, I haven't seen one person blaming Norwegian Cruise Line for this. And in fact, most people are blaming the lady, Kate, for all this drama, saying that she's the one who caused all the incidents. I'm just finding it awful funny that all of a sudden I'm reading reports that the 86-year-old mother of the president of Norwegian Cruise Line has been interviewed and says that this lady is an idiot and she jumped in the water and she caused all this commotion and inconvenience for all the passengers, and Norwegian Cruise Line lost over $600,000 because of this incident. And I picture my mother showing up at my job and saying, you know, he was doing his best. It's not his fucking, what's going on? So, and of course, the big thing is also is the passengers. The minute this happened, in fact, while the search and rescue was going on in the wee hours of the morning, barely 1 or 2 hours into the search and rescue operation, when people found out there was somebody missing on the boat, people were heading down to the desk demanding their money back because their cruise was ruined. So there's always those people. There's always those people out there. Yes, there may be a person who just lost their lives, but hey, can I get a discount on my next cruise because it's an inconvenience for me? Come on. At least wait until you see what happens. Don't head down 1 to 2 hours into the emergency while we're still looking for this woman and she may be dead in the ocean. Come on. I don't understand people like that. That is cold-hearted to me. And here's some of my opinions on a lot of the allegations going out to the woman that, a lot of passengers said she was arguing with her boyfriend all day on the cruise, and then suddenly she went missing at night, and they're assuming that she jumped overboard. She was distressed and distraught, and then changed her mind, obviously, because she didn't just give up. She kept fighting to survive. And they're saying, well, she should be held accountable, and okay, all right, but let's put it this way, guys, and I know it's a very frustrating thing to have your cruise interrupted, and it's something that somebody did willingly. But it's not like this is a drunk person who caused a disturbance or a fight on the ship. This is a person who is seriously thinking about taking their own life. And if that's the case, I'm willing to miss my stop in Norway to make sure this person gets help. And I don't mean just help now. I mean help when she's home. Because obviously if she didn't fall in, and it's hard to fall in, and she tried to jump in, she has some issues that needs to be resolved and she needs some help. So that's where I hope authorities actually take this and force her to get some kind of help. All those people demanding money back on their cruise, I'm sorry, this is the one thing that I'll say I will allow them to do whatever they want to rescue a person at sea. No matter what. I don't even care if it's not on my cruise. If we're out in the middle of in the ocean and another cruise ship or another ship of any kind loses somebody overboard and our captain says we're going to spend a few hours looking for that person, we may be delayed 4 hours getting to Ireland. I'm perfectly okay with that. And I'm not marching down to the front desk at the ship saying, hey, how much money can I get back now because this happened? I'm just hoping they find this person and rescue them before it's too late. But that's just me. And I would like to think that most people would think that way. And it's always, the first thought in a lot of people's mind is to complain or to sue. And to see what's in it for me kind of thing. And I'm kind of like a person who's what's in it for everyone is kind of my thoughts. And I'm kind of like the better good. And to me, losing a few hours of my cruise to save somebody's life is well worth whatever the cost was. And I don't think Norwegian Cruise Line is the one coming out and saying, hey, we lost $600,000, we had to call. I think this was an offhanded remark by the mother. How she knew about this? Was she talking to her son? Apparently she had been talking to her son that morning. Him calling it a fake news and that she's a jumper and all these things that haven't been substantiated yet. But either way, Norwegian Cruise Line, never go and say money is the reason you're unhappy with this rescue operation, because that's a no-win situation. Oh, at what point does the money, okay, we won't rescue somebody for $600,000, but if it's only going to cost us $200,000, we will. Never ever put money with rescuing a life, because you're not going to win. That's idiotic. That's a no-win situation. No company in the world will ever get away with saying something like that. Can you imagine somebody in the operations, and I know it does happen, but somebody saying, you know what, we're not going to provide that operation for you because it's too expensive. It's almost $800,000. But if it was only $700,000, we would have saved your life. Can you imagine what would happen to that hospital? It would be incredible. There'd be lawsuits all over the place. So I really hope it's not Norwegian. I hope this was just an offhanded remark by the mother who was thinking that her son and his company was being picked on. But honestly, I haven't seen any reports blaming Norwegian whatsoever at all. So it's just like I said, it's a soap opera. What the heck is going on? How is my mom getting involved in this? And how did money come into this? Bottom line is, we're not sure yet. Did she jump? Did she fall? People are assuming she jumped because of the way she behaved during the day with the arguing with the boyfriend. Other than that, we're still up in the air. Will the truth ever be known? Will we ever see the closed circuit TV? I don't know. But either way, she's alive. And if she did try and commit, suicide, I hope that she gets the help she needs before this happens again, and it's a lot easier on land. So that's just my thoughts. What are your thoughts? Do you think people who attempt to commit suicide should be held accountable financially? Do you think people should get their money back on their cruise if this happens on your cruise, or if your ship partakes in a rescue operation at sea? Would you be one of those first people? Please don't tell me you're one of those first people down to the desk, because yeah, I hope you're not. I think most people on this channel would be saying, let's hope this lady survives, and a few hours of inconvenience of our time is worth saving this person's life. And at no point should we ever put a financial price tag on saving somebody's life, whether they tried to do this themselves or it was an accident. Either way, we should still try and save these people's lives. I hope you like this catch up. What are your thoughts? Please leave your comments down below. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like my picture of Amsterdam, that I didn't even know was Amsterdam, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Till next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.